Good evening, everyone, and happy Friday. Thank you so much for being patient and waiting. We're a little bit late. I did say we was going to start at 9:05. I just sent a post. So thank you. But we're talking about all things women, Women's History Month. We are talking about celebrating women who are making history. So for those of you who are returning, for those of you who are here for the first time, welcome to Cultivating Conversations. I am your host, Stacey T. I have to read from this because I feel like I'm always changing my intro. But Cultivating Conversations is a podcast where we have thought-provoking conversations about life, love, the pursuit of happiness, and everything in between. And oftentimes the conversations are tough and hard. We have hard topics, primarily those things that we don't like to discuss, but we need to discuss them. So it is my hope at CCTV that a seed is planted that will cultivate the hearts and minds of those who are watching and listening, and it would foster further conversation that you may have to have with yourself or with others, in the hopes to bring healing and wholeness. So in other words, I just want to see everybody living their best life. Okay. Hey, Kim. Hey, Auntie. Hey, Crowned in Glory. I love to say that. So as I said, this month kicks off Women's History Month 2021. And all this month, I'm going to be highlighting some shot callers, trailblazers, some bosses that are making history now. We are grateful for those who are have made history and have paved the way for us to do so many things in music and in business and in politics. But we're grateful for those who are today taking us further for the future generations. So tonight I'm kicking off this celebration of women empowerment and Black excellence. And we're starting it off with a trailblazer. I call her a trailblazer. And as we talk tonight, you are going to understand why I call her a trailblazer. And I know that you will agree. So she's a mom, she's a wife, she's a sister, she's a daughter. She's the founder and CEO of It Fun Nyc. She's a life coach, an advocate for autism. You may have seen her on Dr. Oz some years ago. She was on GMA3 in 2020 during the pandemic, just doing so much. So without further ado, I want to present to some and introduce to others Bernadette Henry, our trailblazer.
Yes.
Hey, Queen.
Yes.
How are you?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm wonderful. Thank you so much for taking time out of your very, very busy and seemingly hectic schedule to sit with little old me and come on my little podcast to talk to me and talk to my audience and talk to those about who you are. So I did give a little introduction, but what I want you to do is introduce yourself to us and tell us, who is Bernadette Henry?
Okay, well, Bernadette Henry, I'm this awesome, dope, amazing, cool, happy, good going person that just loves to help people. I love to make everyone's day brighter, including myself. I am a mom of three, two on the autism spectrum. I'm a wife. I have a full-time job as a case manager. I've been doing that for 20 years with the mentally ill population. I'm also a life coach for autism moms and just overwhelmed moms that's trying to maintain their physical, mental, and emotional wellness, and a master jump rope instructor.
Oh my gosh. All right. So first of all, let me just say, so I don't stalk people's pages on social media, right? Like I'm not that person that is all over somebody's social media stuff, looking and scrolling to see, what they're doing at all, like unless I have a reason to. So we've been friends on social media, and I've seen the great work that you're doing with making jump, but we're going to get into that. But I went I actually looked at your page, sis. You are a big deal. I was like, wait, this woman has over 20,000 followers on across all of your platforms. You are a big You are a big deal. And I know you personally. So to know somebody that's really out here doing it, I don't know when it happened. I don't know how it happened, but it happened and you're here. So I want to start out with you talking about Make It Fun NYC. And before you do that, I have something to show you.
Okay. Ah, yes.
Let me tell you something. I have this is the first time I'm looking at this jump rope in like 5-6 years. Okay.
Wow.
I went down in the dark basement tonight because I said I have to hold myself accountable and show her that I haven't used it. I can't tell you the last time I used it, but I was like, I'm gonna be accountable tonight and I'm going to whip out my rope so that I can really start doing this because I mean I need to. So I just wanted to share that. Hopefully I'll put up a video when the springtime comes and all of the snow
Yes.
goes with me playing myself trying to jump rope. But anyway, tell us about Make It Fun NYC. How did it start? When did it start? What made you started and created?
Okay, so basically, I've been jumping all my life as a little girl. So I grew up in the Bronx in Harlem, and back then, we all we did was do double dutch. We did straight games, like two on time, don't be late, and that's all we did. And like the summertime, we would walk down the street, and all you see is girls playing double dutch. So I remember doing that, and then my earliest remembrance of jumping as a single rope was like I was in the sixth grade, and I used to go outside my house, and I used to just jump, 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 fall, jump, 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 fall. And my mom used to yell out the window like, "Stop, stop!" I'm like, "Look, I got to nail this trick," you know. And then my next remembrance of jumping rope was like in the seventh grade. There was some kind of competition, and I did like 240 jumps in a minute's time, and after that, like my next memory is when I was 19 years old. So me and my friend used to hang out in Union Square all the time, and we used to pass Equinox Gym. So one day I was just like, you know what, let's go inside the gym. And we went inside, and I was not really about health and wellness, fitness, working out. I was just this 19-year-old like kid adult. And in the schedule, it said arrow box, arrow jump. And I'm like, is this jump rope? And they're like, yes. I said, oh, okay, cool, sign me up. So when I signed up, the class was taught by former middleweight boxer Michael Olajide Jr. And then there was another boxer there by the name of Stephen Johnson. Unfortunately, he's not here with us. But they helped to develop my raw talent. And I was able to learn about the rules and how to size ropes and how to breathe, basically technical stuff that I didn't know as a child. And I started jumping rope. I was doing like cardio jump rope. I wasn't into like dieting and meal planning. I wasn't into lifting weights, calisthenics, things like that. I would just go to like the dance classes and I would do the jump rope and I would do the treadmill. And like a year later, I didn't realize I had gained like the freshman like 50 or whatever it was. I was like, oh, okay, this is cool. So throughout my adult life, throughout my 20s, anytime I went to the gym, jump rope was just part of it. And in 2012, I remember I was jumping rope at this event and they had some music like, and so I was jumping with this guy that I had met from Canada or something. And when I watched the video, I was just doing like this trick and I was smiling and I was happy. And it just looked like I was doing this whole dancing thing. And I was like, oh, this is cool. So that's when I started patenting my jump rope style after that. So I basically took like my basic boxing skills and combined it with like music and dance and my personality because that's just who I am. And and in 2012, 13, I was going to like 24-hour fitness and I used to jump rope and I used to tell everybody, hey, look, one day y'all gonna see me jump rope on TV, okay? And they used to look at me and laugh and all that stuff. And I'm just like, yeah, I'm gonna be on TV. So I was doing this dance on the treadmill, like on the treadmill, and I had received a Facebook messenger from the Dr. Oz producers, and they're like, hey, can we play your video on the show? And I'm just like, and then I was like, of course. And then they said, wait a minute, you live in New York. can you come in? I was like, sure. So that's how I ended up on the TV. I wasn't jumping, but I was still on, national TV doing something. So Shakira Moran, I was working closely with her at the time, and I was like, and she was like, hey, look, you need a website, you need a name. I'm like, oh, that's what I'm gonna do. So she came up with Make It Fun. And she threw the NYC because I was in NYC. So I was like, you know what? This actually makes sense because every time someone watches my video, they're like, oh, she makes it fun. And Dr. Oz confirmed it when he introduced me. Now, when you go to TV shows and things, you don't really deal with the person, you deal with the producers. So when he introduced me, he said, Bernadette is here to make our workout fun. And I was just like, okay, wow, confirmation. So that's the beginning to Make It Fun.
Wow. Wow. Okay. So you started out on a treadmill and then you took actually what you have been doing all your life and just really like finessed it and perfected it. Because I was like, how in the world? Like, so yeah, it makes sense. It had to have been something that um that you have been doing, because I mean people can pick that up, but I mean I don't think I could do all of that. Um so hey Tia. So here's a quote. I want to read this quote. I heard this quote. Well, not I heard it. I read it earlier this week on Instagram, and I immediately thought of you on Monday. And I said I wanted to bring this up because it was something that I wanted to speak to. So this quote, I saw it on the Mompreneur, and the person who wrote it, Coach Danny Matranga. He said, imagine a world where women are introduced to exercise as a means to build strength, muscle, and confidence instead of a means to be thin, and taught that nutrition is more about health, longevity, and actually being nourished rather than just being skinny. And I want you to speak to that, because the reason why, I entitled this and titled you as a trailblazer is because, I mean, you're not the first, but you're the most prominent that I've seen. Typically, when you see exercise and you see workouts, everyone is a size nothing, right? We live in a society, and it's been just forever that um exercise and health equates how thin you are, which is not true. And I called you a trailblazer because you don't look like, well, nobody does anymore. I think that's gone out the window, what the average person that's healthy is supposed to look like, because there are people who are thin who have diabetes. There are people that are thin that develop cancer. There are people that, it doesn't really, I mean, yes, obesity and things like that, you have a greater chance at certain things, but it doesn't mean that if I'm a size 2, I'm healthy, my cholesterol is perfect, everything is perfect, and I'm perfect. So I want you to speak to how your journey has been in the exercise space and what you do, and the body conscious side of it.
Right. So, like I said, when I first started jumping rope, it was just something that I did for fun. Like I was not into, my mindset wasn't about losing weight or building muscle or doing or eating right. It was just, I used to go to work, I used to go to gym. That was like my fun time. And I just found it fun. And throughout the years, I've been, on my yo-yo, but it's never really been about weight loss. And over the years through social media, I've always gotten a lot of, oh my gosh, you jump so much. Why aren't you skinny? Oh, you jump so much, this, that, and the third. I've had friends that were like influencers that would say, hey, you're talking to thousands of people online. You need to look a certain way. And I'm like, no, I don't need to look a certain way. I'm going to look how I want to look. And that's that. The number one key is really to be healthy and to do things that's going to work for you. I tell people all the time, and the reason why I don't really let it bother me is I say, hey, look, I can give this same person that's quote unquote skinny, I can give them a rope and they will not last for 10 seconds. Okay. All of that I do with the jump rope, like that is the truest test of your conditioning. Like if you can hold your own, that is the truest test. And this is why your athletes such as boxers jump rope. Because and every athlete do jump rope, but they get glorified in boxing because in boxing you have to move the legs, you have to move your arms, you have to breathe, you have to kind of defend yourself, you have to be on the lookout. And I actually took up boxing for like a year, and I was just like, oh my goodness! Like I did that first sparring session, I was traumatized because I was just like, oh my gosh, like this is insane because of all the movement that you have to do and trying to maintain your breathing, your composure. So when you're jumping rope, you're not only just working on your physical, you're also working on your mental health. You're working on your emotional well-being. Emotionally, you're having so much fun that you can't think of whatever problem you're having. Or mentally, you have to like say to do a jumping jack from a basic jump, people get confused and now you're really exercising your brain. So it's not really all about the body. And even the example that I used for last year. Last year, my goal was to get off of one of my blood pressure medications, and to be consistent. And I promised myself, okay, from that. But this is before a pandemic, thank goodness. I said, you're going to go outside and you're going to jump rope, do 10 sets of 100 jumps at least 3 to 5 times a week. That's it. You're just going to be consistent. And I did that. And of course, yes, as a result of the consistency, I was able to drop 30 and drop one of three blood pressure pills. But at the end of the day, jump rope is about your overall wellness. Like I don't preach jump rope for weight loss anymore because I'm going to be 42 next month, and I'm a busy mom. I'm a wife. I'm a full-time employee. I'm an entrepreneur. And I have all of these moving pieces. Like as long as you can take 10 to 15 minutes and do something for yourself, you're still going to be healthy. You're going to be able to breathe better. You're going to be able to walk up some flight of stairs. You're going to be able to play with your kids if you still have kids. Hey, you may lower your A1C numbers. You may decrease your blood pressure. So there's so many other, you may feel better about your life and your well-being. So there's way more benefits to jumping rope than just how you look. And how you look, whether you're plus size or you're small, doesn't determine your health.
Right. Because the fact of the matter is, everyone is not going to be a size 2.
Right.
Everyone is not going to be a size 4. It just is what it is. So I feel like what you're doing is you are normalizing being normal.
Right. That's it.
Like,
Because you have to like work hard, especially if your body type is a certain way, you have to work hard at it. So you're gonna have to maintain a certain diet all the time. You're gonna have to maintain a certain exercise regimen. And then if we're speaking to women that's over 30, we have a lot of things that's going on. First of all, we have life. Okay? We have life.
right.
We're not like these little kids that can just exercise, and our metabolism is different. Like we have life. We have jobs, we have all these other things that we have to deal with. And then we have our hormonal changes where things are happening and people, I'm not going through menopause yet, but women go through that. Stress like begins to affect your body. So it's so many different things. Like today you can get on the scale and be one thing, and tomorrow it could be another thing, but it doesn't mean anything like in regards to your health. Like the whole point it really is to just do something, add some kind of movement into your life. And if you're consistent, of course, maybe you will lose some weight.
Right. So jump rope can also serve as a stress reliever.
Oh yeah. Jump rope has gotten me through some of like the worst times in my life. Yeah.
Yeah. Jump rope versus running. Talk about it.
Okay, so running is a phenomenal exercise. But what happens with jump rope is that if you're trying to just get a big workout, you can get the equivalent of a 30-minute jog in 10 minutes of jumping rope. Because with jumping rope, you're in a constant state of moving. So it's like you have to turn the rope, you have to jump. You have to turn the rope, you have to jump. When you're running, right, you can drop your arms, you can slow down. It's like you're not your whole body may not be in constant motion. Unless you like really like into it. But like with the jumping, it's like if you stop moving your arms, guess what? You're not gonna be able to jump over the rope. And I've actually, worked with some runners where they would actually jump in their off season. So when they're training for their races, they're focused on their races. But on their off season, they start jumping rope. And many runners have told me that it's helped them with their conditioning and their stamina.
So that when they get out and run, it's like they
Yep.
haven't lost any type of stamina, anything like that, because they've been jumping regularly.
Yep.
Wow.
So,
Wow.
it's a very good exercise. But if you're looking for something that you just need to do really quick, you can just grab your jump rope and you can do it anywhere.
Right. Yeah, I think next week is supposed to be nice. I think I'm gonna go on my driveway and take a because I don't like running, so I'll try. Yeah, I don't. The scenery around my house is nice, but I don't like running. I'll try to jump rope. Okay, so how did you get from like it's starting to where you are now? Um, I would assume that you have more people who are, I don't want to say for you than against you, but you have more people that are buying into the notion of exercise and normalcy and looking the way and it being about having fun and being healthy rather than the cosmetics piece and wanting to shed pounds. Like you said, if that's what it is, if that's what happens, then great. But that's not the goal. So how did you get the following in a world where we are so incredibly superficial about looks and things like that, and have the people who once said to you that you needed to look a certain way, has anyone come back to you and said, well, I may have a change of heart or whatever?
I think that really, especially when it came to social media, it was all about consistency. Like I've been posting videos on social media since before Instagram even had videos. Like when Instagram way back when it was just pictures, I would post pictures of me being in the gym. But then when I go back to my Instagram, I actually have videos from like 2011. So I have people, I call them day ones, that's been following me since I had my first Instagram, and I've been very authentic and transparent, and that's kind of what really draws people to me. So me, number one, letting people know, hey, it's okay for you to be who you are and to do what you do. Number two, I think it's that happiness. So when people see me, they're like, oh my gosh, you can have fun, like you can really do that. And that really, because I'm always smiling and things, and it really draws people in. And I speak especially to women who may have low confidence because they spent so much of their time focused on their family, focused on their children, that they forgot about themselves. And showing and really being real and saying, hey, look, I know the struggle when you have to wake up at 5, 6 o'clock in the morning, get your kids ready, get yourself ready, and to work. You done did a job before you even got to work. And
Mhm.
then you have to work those hours, come home. Maybe you don't feel like going to the gym, or maybe the time doesn't allow. Or what if something happens with the kids? Or what if you have to go home and cook? Or what if you have to do this? Like we just have so many different things that we have to do. So letting women know, hey, look, you don't have time to go to the gym. You can just throw on some clothes. If it's raining in your house, jump in your house, or go outside in your hallway, or go outside the apartment. Like you can do this anywhere, anytime, and just letting women know that it's okay. Because a lot of women, they are comparing themselves to women, great women that has maybe bounced back, and they're like looking at them like, oh my gosh, like why aren't I skinny, or why aren't I dropping this baby weight, or why do I still have this fupa? But it's like you're comparing yourself, or you're comparing yourself to a celebrity. You're comparing yourself to someone that doesn't live your life. So this celebrity that you're comparing yourself to, they have a nutritionist, they have a trainer, they have people to watch their kids. Or if
Right.
you're looking at maybe your friend on Instagram, hey, maybe this person has childcare. Maybe this person was exercising, before they got pregnant. And then, like knowing, okay, you have stress after you have the kids. So it's like so many different factors. And I come as myself. And I've noticed, like, even on Instagram, I've seen women, especially, that would like go on this weight loss journey, right? They would lose all of this weight, and then they'll gain the weight back, And then they'll come back with a sob story like, oh my gosh, I went through this deep depression. And as a result, all my weight came back. And oh, so what they'll do is after they lose the weight, they'll be there for a while and they'll just leave social media for like 6 months or a year. I've seen it like with my own eyes, like
Yeah.
people that I literally know. And then they come back with this big old sob story. Me, people done see me big, small, up, down, pregnant, not pregnant, married, single, broken up, sad, depressed. People done seen it all. And people that
Right.
really been following me for like a long time, they've seen the story and they've seen the transformation. So I think, like I said, the transparency, the authenticity, and just being me.
Yes. 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 That's huge. That is huge. And contrary to what people think, that's what people look for. They want to this I don't want to get on a soapbox, but the idea of the image of perfection, it irritates the depths of my soul. I can't stand it. Now, I'm not saying that you have to put all your business out there, but if you're
Right,
going to be there and you want to help people, don't give them a lie. Don't give
right,
them a facade because everybody is struggling with something and everyone is or a lot of people are looking for some type of tangible examples of people who are just like them. All of this other stuff is fantasy. Half of it is a lie. It's the highlight reels. It's the
mhm.
highlight reels of people's lives. You can't go by that. So this is a good segue because I wanted to talk about you speaking to being a life coach. I've seen, just set aside from, make it fun in the jump rope. I've seen posts with you talking to busy moms and stress and just being real about the reality of life. Whether you are an entrepreneur or you just work a 9 to 5, or if you are a stay-at-home mom, because that's a whole job in and of itself. So
Mhm.
talk about where the whole life coach um with moms and women and things like that, how did that come into play?
Well, I love social media and I love going live. And a lot of times I would just come on and just talk about random little things. And like I said, I've been like even when I watch my Facebook memories for years, I'll talk on a variety of different topics. So I with the autism moms, I particularly remember on Periscope back in like 2016ish or so, I was talking about jump rope and the topic went to autism moms, or I was sharing my experience, with being an autism mom. And somehow in conversation, some of the women were commenting like, "Oh my gosh, like wow, I think something is going on, and my family not supporting me, and I don't know what to do." And it was just so many different things that they related to, and just getting like a lot of DMs like, "Oh wow, you just spoke to my situation." So I basically started doing like a lot of content towards about that. So being an autism mom and really taking people from before their child is officially diagnosed to now them managing their feelings after they're diagnosed. So not really giving them um, techniques for their children, but really managing their emotions because nobody wants to hear that your child is autistic or that your child has something different about them. That's really something for most a harsh reality because now you have these expectations. So now you're really going through like the anger, like why me? Why not this lady that was smoking crack every day? Her child is completely normal. Or you going through that grief, like okay, if I have a son, is he ever going to be able to get married? Am I going to have grandchildren? Is he going to be able to function, like good enough? Or you're in denial. So I even look back at some posts on my Facebook memories when I was dealing with it with my first child, well, my middle child, and I would say something, and they would say, "Oh, he'll grow out of it. He'll get better. He'll do this. He'll do that." And I just know that with the first time around that I went through this, my child was denied early intervention, And I had to go through it the hard way with the banging on the floors and the kicking and the hitting and the biting. And it was just like a lot that I had to go through. And I had to do it by myself because your friends and family, they're not going to believe you. And they're just going to be like, okay, whatever. And, you know, you're just doing this and you're a bad mom. You're not organized. I mean, I heard it all. And I want to be that to the woman that I didn't have because this thing is really real and this thing could really like drive you. Like I cried many nights getting calls from schools and then just getting the backlash from people that's supposed to be in the corner and you know it's just not happening. So I wanted to be that to women. And also, as far as like the overwhelmed mom, just letting moms know that, look, I understand what you're going through. Like, and it's normal for you to feel the way you feel. Because a lot of times we get these fleeting thoughts. Even now during pandemic, I'm like, hey, shout out to the moms whose kids are still alive. You know, because we like this is a stressful time. Like
Yeah.
between working remotely, between trying to do the business, between having the kids do their remote school, it's just like a whole for me especially, it's a whole new world. And I said, look, shout out to us whose kids are still alive. And it's like even me, I have to vent to look, anybody I can talk to. The doctor called me, I'm venting. My child speech therapist call, I'm venting. The OT person, I'm venting. But you know, we're going through and it's all right and it's normal. And I think that when you have a lack of support, when you can't vent, you start to bottle things up. And then that makes your situation worse. And oh my goodness, just the thoughts that can fly in your head if you don't have that proper support system.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like because I feel like in it may be my ignorance because my children are older, but I feel like autism. I don't know how long it's been around. I
Very
feel like
long.
it's been around for. I never heard of it until probably like the last maybe 5 6 years. You know
Right.
what I mean? And what we sadly what we don't understand, we tend to demonize and vilify and just call it something that we think it is and it's not. And I think that it's so great because to your point again, just with the physical fitness, with the mental, a lot of times we think we are an anomaly. We are the only one. My kid is the only one that's doing this, or I'm the only one that's going through that, or I'm the only one that's having issues and troubles with that. And there's been so much slack about social media and people sharing so much and sharing their business and things like that, but people don't understand that when you have no one to turn to, where are you going to turn to? And not to say
Right.
that social media, like everybody go on social media and that's where you're going to find all the problems to your issues. But I mean, when they come across a Bernadette Henry and they just got this diagnosis and they don't know what to do, I've when I've heard about autism, I've never heard about it from the parent standpoint or the mother standpoint. It's always about the child, and rightfully so, because they talk about the spectrum and the learning curve and all of those things, but the other things that come with that, with whatever that scale is and how severe it is, and whether it's just a learning situation or if it's a learning and a like how they act, and I don't even know the correct terms, like a learning, and how they conduct themselves, and where is uh the support for the moms that have to deal with the children and deal with everything else, because life doesn't stop with
Right.
an autistic child. You still got to cook, you still got to go to work, you still have to do the things that you need to do, that you want to do, and you have this whole, it seems you have this whole other thing now that's like on your shoulders that you have to do by yourself you know
Right.
um
And you know, there are like three. There's like mild, moderate, and severe. You know, and my children, or the two of my children that are diagnosed, they are considered high functional. So they're able to use the bathroom, talk, do the things, but there are still like a lot of severe emotional and social things that we deal with and the acting out and things like that. So when I talk about autism on social media, I really don't talk about the bad days where I'm going through the kids screaming, throwing stuff around my house and beating me, not beating me, but hitting me and things like that. Like I don't come from a lot of times I'll do like a Yaronism because Yaron, anytime I post something that he said, like people crack up because he's just so smart and his comeback to be like this.
Yeah.
And T John, the 4-year-old, it's crazy because when I went to his pediatric appointment at 2 years old, they asked about how many words, blah blah blah, and the doctor said, "Hey, maybe you should, take him on the intervention." And I said, "You know what? Whatever, I'll do it." So I kind of had a different learning curve between the two of them, and he went through his early intervention. We have him in his appropriate programs, and he's thriving. And sometimes I'm just like, okay, is he? But then when I look at the behavior, it's like, okay, yeah, they're right, But I try to give the positive side of it, because it's not all that. It's like at the end of the day, these are my children, or these, whoever the mom is, this is your child. So
Right.
treat your child how you would treat any other child, but now just keeping in mind, this is your child's life. So this is not a bird. It's kind of like if you have a child that has some physical ailment, this is your child's world. This is your child's life. So you just adjust your mindset and deal with your child accordingly. And of course, with the right support, it just takes time and it can be done.
Wonderful. So, like I said in the beginning, your mom, wife, sister, a daughter, a friend, case manager, entrepreneur, coach, autism advocate, encourager. How do you find the time and the strength to do it all?
Okay, that's a lot because I'm like listening to you like, oh gosh, wow, you gonna keep going? Keep going. I would say like there's really no such thing as balance. You have to take life for what it is and make everything fit into the puzzle how it may. So I would say the biggest things are having some sort of morning routine when you can and having a nighttime routine. And then everything else falls into place. So just letting your family know, hey, this is the overall goal, this is how it's going to benefit you, and maybe getting the family involved, the members that that actually want to be involved. So getting them involved and saying, hey, look, this is the direction, and because of this, this is what's going to happen. And also, too, it makes me feel great. It like makes me feel good. So if I'm not fulfilling my life's purpose and helping others and doing the things, how am I going to even be good for those around me? Like I'm going to be depressed and sad and things, and that's not going to be good for the family. So I have to do the things that are going to not only fulfill me, but also fulfill the purpose and the reason why I'm here. And when it comes to like business, entrepreneurship, social media, and things like that, I am the queen of repurposing. I will take one piece of content and repurpose it like all over. I can take one piece of content and turn it into 20, 30, 40 pieces of content and we'd be okay. So it's just really finding, make taking what works and make it work for you and to your standards. What's also helped too is coaching. So when you're trying to go places in life, you're going to hire people and work with people that's going to help make the journey a bit easier. So sometimes like I'll have a coach for this and I'll have a coach for that, and I'll have a coach for this that makes things like that makes life easy. And then when you know that you're tired, go to bed. Like go to bed, rest, stop doing the things, and just take that time out for yourself. Also, too, I would say the self care and really being purposeful and intentional about it. A lot of people they're throwing this word self care around like it's some kind of fad, and it's just like okay, this is not a fad. This is something that you have to like set aside. Like just like you take your kids to the doctor on March 19th at 2 o'clock, you have to make that time for yourself. Like, okay, I'm going to meditate, every Monday morning at 6 a.m. or I'm going to go and exercise every day, or Monday, Tuesday, Thursday at 2 o'clock to 2:15. So really putting yourself on that calendar. And even through pandemic, things like that. Like I have some, very good, friends that I may not see for a time. Yes, I may see them on social media, but it's still not the same. So what I've done now is I have a calendar, and I may have a list of friends. I'm like, hey, look, okay, we're gonna just put you on the calendar for this day. When that day comes, we'll figure it out. But also balancing and remembering like your friends, your family, and like I said, everything that makes you feel good. Because when you feel good, you're gonna be good for those around you.
So what I'm hearing is that you fulfill your purpose. You know when to stop and rest, and you make self-care to be more than just a cliche. You have to schedule time. So while there is no such thing as balance, as in equal weighing of the scales, you do have to be as proactive in finding some me time as you do in finding time to do all of the things that you do to fulfill your purpose. Because if your tank is empty, then you have nothing to give to your purpose, your job, your entrepreneur things, like everything that you want to do. You have nothing to give if you're running on empty.
Right.
So you pencil in your friends and you have some downtime and things like that.
Yes, I sure do. I like to
All
go out to
right.
eat. Restaurants are open. Let's go.
I know that's right. I know that's right. Okay, so what advice would you give? And you kind of touched on it, but what advice would you give to those who want to start something? It's a dream that they've had. It's something that they've been wanting to do, but they're not quite sure how. What advice would you give that person?
I would say to jump, right? Jump, journey of the underdog making progress. Like you have to
Hold on,
start.
wait a
Yes,
minute, wait a minute, because I saw that post and I was like, yes. You said journey of the underdog making progress?
yes, sure did. It's kind of like, and this is the whole philosophy I'm working around. I'm still building it out and everything. But with the jump rope, right? When you turn the rope, you have to jump, right? If you don't jump, the rope is gonna keep hitting your ankles or your feet. And it's such as life. Life problems come at us. And stress is normal. Things are going to happen. So, what are we going to do? Are we going to sit there and let the rope keep hitting our foot, or are we going to take action? So, jump is like AKA take action. So, when you want to do something, just go for it. Don't look at everyone else, what everyone else is doing, because you start to become discouraged. So, walk in your truth, be who you are, and show up as your authentic self. Because when you don't show up as your authentic self, you're not showing up at all. Like I never in a million years imagined that this little girl from Bronx would be on national TV, would be on magazines, would be on podcasts, would be doing all. I never imagined. I
Those
never in my life
commercials.
imagined. But
Mm-hmm.
it happened from being myself, being consistent, being transparent, being authentic. And sometimes when you're trying to carve a path out for yourself, it may take you longer to get where you're going, but it takes the world time to catch up to you. So whatever it is you want to do, just start. It doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be the perfect lighting, the perfect phone, the perfect camera, the perfect words. You just have to do it. Just start. Do something. Because the longer you procrastinate, the longer you're going to double guess yourself, the longer you're going to be you have to be confident. And I've had to make several shifts even in my mindset for a couple of years now. I've had coaches beating me in the head about, the certain things I was dealing with. And finally, like at the end of last year, it was just like, okay, this is it. And it's helped me tremendously. So really also getting into some mindset. So letting people speak life to you, reading those books or listening to podcasts or watching the YouTube that's really going to give you life, and not to listen to a million voices. Because a lot of times you'll have this idea, and even though you may talk to like 10 people about this idea, these people will talk you down, or I'll give you a prime example. Like me, I'm the type that I love coaching. I love courses. I love doing all the things. And I had got to a point where I was listening to so many people that I started to drown myself out. And I was just like, I was scared. Okay, before I put this post, I would think, okay, what is this person going to say? Okay, what is that person going to say? And then it's like, now you're trying to sound like, look like, be like someone that you're not. So you have to be sure in what you want, and you have to walk confidently and boldly, and you have to ignore the naysayers. Like, take what's relevant and dismiss the rest. But you have to take action, JUMP, jump, journey of the underdog, making progress.
I'm about to send you some tea and an offering. You bless my soul with that. No, you bless my soul, because in this whole social media thing, all we have is, or what we think we have is what we see in front of us. And everyone has their own fingerprint. Everyone has their own blueprint. Everyone has their own place in the world and their own thing to do. You don't have to be like everybody else. It would be best that you're not like everybody else, because whatever it is that you're supposed to do is unique to you. Even if it's something that's similar to what somebody else is doing, nobody can do that particular part like you can do it. I love it.
And you know what? Your tribe will find you. Your tribe will definitely find you. Let me tell you something. If you go to the supermarket, there's a whole row of bread. Okay? Mm-hmm. You're going to see like 25, 30 different kind of breads. But guess what? Every single one of them breads are making money. You go to the supermarket at the end of the week, guess what? Those shelves are empty. So what's who's for you is going to be for you. And you just have to keep developing and walking in your true, authentic self. That's it.
Yeah, and not being afraid. Like I made up in my mind a long time ago. There are how many people on the planet? 3 billion over. It's a whole lot of people on the planet. Those who are in close proximity of you. I'm not just talking about like friends and family, but people that you know. That's not all there is to life and to the world and to the people who you haven't even touched yet. So the other thing about it is being afraid to put yourself out there, being comfortable with the people who are around you, not knowing that those people that are around you, like everyone serves their purpose for their season, but at some point you got to branch out. And it's not about the numbers, it is what it is, but it's not about the trying to get the numbers. It's about the influence that you want to have on the people who you want to help, and you can't limit yourself. And I think that's what happens with people is, it's almost like the fear of, the people that you don't know, when the reality is sometimes it's the people that you do know that will bring you more harm or won't support you than the people that you don't know. And I always say that the few, and however the number is, the few that will hit your inbox and walk up to you or just send you a text and say, you really encouraged me. You really helped me. You made me see that life is worth living, or I can do this, I can get through that, far outweighs the chatter and the people that far outweighs the chatter and the people. And to your point of being authentic and just being yourself, when you be yourself and it's a passion and you have the right motive for wanting to do what you want to do. With you, your motives are pure. It's just who you are. You're bubbly. You just want to help people. You want to bring the best out of people. You want to see people happy, and you want them to. It's just magnetic. You know what I mean? When you do things and you have the right motive, when your motive is not to have the big name for people to sing your name rather than for the big name for people to say she helped me. She helped me for me. She helped me see that I don't need to be a side suit. She helped me to see that I can get off of these blood pressure pills. She helped me to see that I'm fine and perfect the way God made me, and I'm not going to hold him hostage because I don't look like the 26, 34, 30, 26 or whatever size 2. Like, I look like me and I love me and I appreciate me, and she helped me to see that. You know what I mean?
Right. And that's the thing about, and that's definitely the thing about your target market. A lot of times you are going, when you talk to that person, that's who you're going to identify with. And I always tell you, we're kind of like when you go into church and the pastor is in the pulpit and they're like, yeah, I was a low down dirty shame. And I was in the muck and mire and the clay. Then the Lord came and got me. And everybody's like, yeah, because this is something that you can identify with. So it's the same thing when you're promoting your business, your brand, or the thing that you're doing. You're going to talk the language of that person you're trying to reach. So your friends and family may not be in that circle. And I always tell people, stop getting mad, stop, ruining your relationships with your friends and family because they didn't buy something that you had or because they didn't share your post. They are not your target market.
That's
like,
it.
Go out there and talk to the people. Like, I would talk to stressed and overwhelmed moms that want to live a good life, physically, mentally, and emotionally. And I'm going to carve out my content that way. So the people that now can identify with what I'm saying are the people that I'm going to attract. Like, you're not going to be everybody. And people have to be fine for that. Like, the more that you can niche down and know who your market is, the better you're going to reach the people that you're supposed to reach.
This is fantastic. This is fantastic. All right, last question.
Yeah.
Well, second to last question. What now that you are who you are now, you are making HERstory. See how I did that? HERstory. You're making history. You have so much farther to go, but you've made so many strides as a Black woman in a space like all other spaces where, not necessarily dominating yet or not like that, don't look like what society says you're supposed to look like, but you're still breaking ground. You're still doing a lot. Knowing what you know now, what would you tell your younger self?
Wow. My younger self, to really be yourself, and because it always comes back to transparency and being authentic. Because I think that me not doing so many years ago almost caused me to end my own life because I was trying to fit this thing that I wasn't. And as a result, I was very depressed. And when I felt like I didn't have anywhere to turn, it was just like, okay, we're going to go home, we're going to swallow the pills, and we're going to do what we're supposed to do. But something in me said, okay, look, you're going to go to the hospital and you're going to get your whole life together, So, going to therapy and really working through those things that, had me hostage. Because I always tell people, when you have these unresolved issues that you have not dealt with, no matter what you do, no matter how old you get, those things are going to come back and they're going to affect you. So it's better to just go get the help and live your best life. So, for me, I would say just, be authentic, be transparent, walk in who you are in all your glory, and your boldness. And yes, and keep it moving. Like, you can't really think about what this person is doing and what that person is doing because, like I said, it's going to bring you down and make you feel some way that you don't need to be feeling.
I love it. So, what is in the future for Make It Fun NYC? that you can share or you're willing to share?
So right now, and it's kind of been in the working, I've been working on the philosophy of jump, journey of the underdog making progress. So really now taking women from that space of not having confidence, not feeling good about themselves, and just taking them from, or women that want to start their entrepreneurial journey, learn about social media. So really taking women from this place of feeling unworthy to this place, okay, now I can do something, I can start something, I can be who I am, not ashamed. So really developing that theory of jump, because journey of the underdog, I had to come from the hot mess that I was to where I am today. I would have never imagined that I'd be where I am. Just showing women that, hey, you can have all of these things that go on, but yet still, you can still go get your help and go live your best life. So speaking and all the things, that's all in the works. Okay?
I can't wait. I love it. I mean, I just see jump and I just see it so differently just from this our talk. I just see because I'm jump rope. Got for those of you who came late, I got my jump rope. I just see jump when you shared that earlier. I think it was yesterday or today. Oh, one more thing.
Mm-hmm.
Speak to your whole plan B philosophy, because I saw that. I think that was yesterday or this morning about the whole plan B thing. Do you
Look,
remember?
I don't remember exactly what it was, but there is no plan B.
Yes,
It's like
that's
you're
exactly
gonna
what it
go,
was.
you're gonna go in all or nothing. Because when you give yourself a plan B, you're planting that seed that, oh, it may not gonna work out. So when you just have that plan A, you're gonna go in. You're not gonna have that doubt that, oh, okay, it may not work out, but just in case, I have this rainy day fun. No, it's like all or nothing.
You just gotta jump.
Yep.
Gotta jump. I love it. I love it. Okay, so I created this little banner. So I want you to tell us where we can find you, what we can do. Is in the description. So if you can't find it, if you can't keep up, it's in the description for tonight's episode. All of our handles, all of our social media handles. Tell us where we can find you, what you got coming up next. What are you going to be doing?
Okay, so you can find me at www.makeitfunnyc.com. I'm on Instagram, Facebook at Make It Fun NYC, YouTube at Bernadette20, TikTok at Jump Rope is Dope. I love TikTok, y'all. I'm also right now I'm in the process of launching my Rope is Dope Club. So basically taking someone from the beginning of jumping until like doing all the fun things that I do. I run challenges. I have a couple of speaking engagements coming up in the future. So you follow me and bring that jump rope. You'll find me. I'll be all over the place.
I love it. Yes, you are. But you're doing the thing. You are a
Thank
trailblazer.
you.
You are. I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud of you. I really am. To see where, just from what I've seen,
Right.
because I don't, from what I've seen and where you are. I mean, I'm so proud of you. You are doing the daggone thing. You are doing it. I wish you so much success. Keep breaking them ceilings and being in those spaces and in those rooms. Keep owning your truth and being authentic. Keep telling your story, because can't nobody tell it like you. I'm so glad that you lived to tell your own story. I'm so glad. I'm so glad that God had a greater purpose for you, and all that you have been through was just the catalyst to bring you to where you are. That's going to continue to help so many others, especially women. I salute you, you
Thank
trailblazer,
you. And
blazing
I
the trail.
salute you too. I'm proud of
Thank
you
you.
too.
I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Thank you so much again for coming and indulging us and talking with me. Much success to you. I look forward to more TikToks. I look forward
Yes.
to you. Look, you gonna end up on Ellen at the point where Twitch was liking your TikToks and
Yes.
all of that. I look forward to seeing you on the big screen and more commercials and so much more. So much success to you, Bernadette. I appreciate you so much.
Thank you so much. And I appreciate you too, everything that you're doing. Thank you.
All right, all right. So until next time, I will see you on Make It Fun. I will see you on my raggedy video. I'm gonna put up next week. Try to jump rope. But yeah, thanks again. Take care of the boys and hubby and all that you do. I appreciate you so much.
All right. Thank you.
All right, take care.
All right.
Oh my gosh. Wow. Well. This concludes our first installment of Women Making HERstory on Cultivating Conversations. Listen, you got a lot of content. We got a lot of content. We got a lot of encouragement. I hope that you have been encouraged by Bernadette's story. I hope that you've taken away something. I hope that this conversation was indeed cultivating. I hope and pray that it sowed a seed. Listen, the bottom line is this, okay? Somebody needs what you have. You have something that somebody needs. Somebody needs what you have, and they're not going to be their best self and who they need until you come into the fullness of who you are. Don't look to the right. Don't look to the left. Don't worry about what people are going to say. Don't worry about what people are not going to say. Don't worry about who's going to support you and who's not. Don't worry about who's going to talk about you. Don't worry about who may try to come and discourage you, be petty and low-key shady with their comments. Don't worry about it. If you know that this is something that God has called and ordained you to do, if you have a story to tell, if you have a book to write, you have something, you can make history, her story. And listen, it doesn't have to be something that's in the limelight. It doesn't have to be something that's on the TV. It doesn't have to be something that is on social media. You don't need 20,000 followers to do what you need to do. Somebody needs it. Somebody needs it. So I encourage you, whatever it is that you are sitting on, whatever it is that you are scared to do, just jump. Just jump. This is a good segue. This month, I'm celebrating my 1-year anniversary for Cultivating Conversations. And I told you guys last year, last year when I first started, that this was not something that I didn't want to do it this way. I didn't want to do it this way. I wanted to do the normal podcast where I'm sitting behind a mic and not in front of a camera. I didn't want to be in front of people. I did not want to be visible, but the Lord told me to do it at that point. And here I am a year later. Okay. Everything is not perfect. Do I have 100,000 followers in ads and all of that? I don't have it yet. Okay. But I'm comfortable where I am. I'm not satisfied because I know that there's more for me to do, but I'm comfortable where I am because I know that this is my journey and this is my track that God has me on, and it was tailor-made for me. So whatever God has tailor-made for you to do, be on your journey, get on your journey, take that first step, do it afraid, but just do it. Just jump. Even if you're the underdog, okay? Even if you're just starting out and there are people that are far ahead of you that are doing this, that, it doesn't matter. What do you have to contribute to the world? Who are people going to say that you are a year from now, 5 years from now? And again, it doesn't mean that your name is in lights, but what one person is going to say because she told me her story, I knew that I could make it. Because she shared with me what she went through, I knew that I could make it. Because I watched her go through a lot of pain, because I watched her go through and get through a lot of adversity, because I watched people drag her and say all manner of things about her, but she still persevered and she came out on the other side. If she could do it, I could do it. What are people going to say? Who do men and women say that you are? Okay? I didn't mean to get biblical, but it's in me, so it is what it is. Amen. Be inspired, be encouraged, be a trailblazer wherever you are, wherever you find yourself to be. Blaze your own trail so that you can set the stage and the path for others to come behind you. Okay. Thank you all for tuning in. Next Friday, I'm going to have another trailblazer. She's a boss. I got a boss coming next week. I'm not going to tell you who it is. You have to tune in and see. But I got a boss who is going to join me next week, Friday. The following week, we are going to celebrate CCTV's 1 year anniversary. And then we're going to round out March with a shot caller. Okay, we got a trailblazer, we got a boss, and we got a shot caller. And there's so many other beautiful women, beautiful Black women that are doing so much, so much. So whoever you are, of course, I couldn't have everybody come on, but whoever you are, whatever you're doing in your respective place, I salute you, woman. I salute you, Black woman. I salute you, trailblazer, ceiling breaker, sky's the limit. Just go and just do the daggone thing. I salute you. All right. I am Stacy T. We're cultivating conversations. And until next week, keep being great. And I will see you next week, Friday. Peace out.